How you going, guys? Curtis from Cutting Edge Engineering. Today we have a 793 final drive spindle in for a crack repair. What this does is connect the rear wheels and the hub to the diff housing. And this is a pretty big component. It is 1.1 meters in diameter, 1.6 meters tall, and weighs 1750 kilo. So generally when these need repair, it is because the bearings have spun on the journals and have damaged that surface, and then they need to be reclaimed. Unfortunately, we can't do them because we don't have the capacity to swing them yet. But one of the other main reasons they need repair is cracks that form in the mounting base. And considering the trucks can weigh up to 400 tonne when they're fully loaded, it's no wonder why materials fatigue and crack. So the customer has already performed a crack test on the entire component. They didn't find any cracks between the brake flange and the end of the spindle, which is good news because that would be considered a critical repair. What they did find is what looks to be a couple of cracks between the brake flange and the mounting face. But the good thing is the OEM does provide a salvage procedure to repair cracks on this part of the spindle, but depending on how long and how deep those cracks are is whether this component is salvageable at all. So the first thing we need to do is get this sandblasted to remove all of the paint and the dirt and debris so we can perform the crack test. Before I blast it, I'm going to transfer it onto a timber pallet, and I also need to wrap the top half of the spindle so I don't damage any of those bearing surfaces with the blasting grit. So that's our rapid blaster all set up, but before I start blasting, I'm going to cap off this sensor so I don't damage it. So that's all the blasting done. That only took a few minutes. Now I'm just going to wash it down. So I'm just going to dry that off, and I'm going to coat this machined area with a rust preventative so it doesn't flash rust. Now that we've got that surface prepped, we can see that it is cracked where they had marked it. There is a reasonable crack there. It is about 60mm long, and there are two smaller ones, so about 25mm long. Because this is a steel casting, there are surface imperfections that make it look like there are cracks, but after a good visual inspection around the entire spindle, I can't find any more than the 3 we've already found. But we will be doing a crack test on the entire base to be sure there are no more. And to crack test it, we're going to be using a magnetic particle tester. Before we can do that, we need to apply the white background. So whenever we're doing crack testing for customers, I do fill out a report, and that report includes what the component is, what the repair procedure is, and whether it was a pass or a fail. That becomes part of our record keeping. We also send a copy of that to our customer, including photos. So with that sprayed on and dry, now we can get on to using our magnetic particle tester. And to expose the cracks, we're going to be using Ardox black magnetic ink. So that's a good confirmation of what we could see. Now I'm going to work my way around the spindle to see if we can find any more.
Well, is there another one?
Yeah. So unfortunately we have found another crack, and this one is longer, but it does show signs that it has been repaired before because there is weld spatter there and grinding marks. This just goes to show how important it is that the surface is prepped correctly, because this crack got missed the first time because it was hiding under paint. But before we call the customer to give him an update, we're going to finish crack testing to see what else we can find.
Oh, what more? A little one. When you zoom in, it makes it look really bad.
Righto guys, so that's our crack testing done. All up we found 5 cracks. The one we're most concerned about is the long one, but we have measured it and it is within the allowable tolerance on the salvage procedure, and we have spoken to the customer and sent them photos, and they've given us the go ahead to continue the repair.
Hey, sit. Oi. Homeless. What's this? Whoop, sit, sit. Ooh. What's this? Spin around, spin around. Oh, good boy. Oh my goodness. You missed a bit. Okay. Alright, come on, quick, go.
Now what we're going to do is grind out the cracks to see if we can find the base of them, but we do have a limit on how deep we can go before the part becomes unsalvageable. And to grind it out, I'm going to be using a 3M 5-inch silver rigid grinding disc. Imperfection in the weld. So I've just started grinding and I've already found a pinhole that was in the existing weld. A defect like that could have definitely been responsible for it cracking again. So I haven't found the base of that crack just yet, but I am having difficulty seeing where I'm grinding. So what I'm going to do is turn the spindle on its side, so I'm looking straight down on top of it. Now I'm going to change out to my third polycurve wheel, and I'm going to use that to polish the surface to give better visibility. So that crack is still visible, which means we just have to keep grinding it out. On. You see that recording aluminum? So I thought I'd ground all the way through that crack, but then Karen said that she could see it very visibly from her side. So I'm going to keep grinding, but we are getting close to the depth that we're allowed to go. So the crack is still there, and I'm actually concerned that it goes all the way through. So what I'm going to be using is magnetic particle powder in the crack, and then I will use air pressure from the inside of the spindle to see whether that causes any disturbance in the powder, which would indicate that this crack goes all the way through. So there's no disturbance in the powder, so that indicates it doesn't go all the way through. But I am going to use a die grinder now because it gives me better visibility to see what I'm doing. So it does look like there still is a little bit of a crack there, but we are on our limit of depth and length for this to be a salvageable repair. So I'm going to give it one more pass and hopefully we can clean it up. So there are no visible signs of a crack, but even though we can't see it, it could still definitely be there. So what we're going to do is use our mag particle tester to test the area again.
Too much.
Right.
Is it still?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Couldn't even see that.
Goes all the way out here.
Does it?
Yeah. Righto guys, so clearly that crack is still there. It looks like we have achieved nothing. It still goes the entire length from where we started, which means it does go a lot deeper and a lot further around the diameter. And that's why it is so important to use the correct crack testing methods on critical components, because that could easily have been missed by the naked eye and ended up back in circulation. But what I need to do now is give our customer a call and let him know what I found.
And there you go. Hey, this is real bad. Real. I'm down to depth and I'm on maximum, and it's on maximum length of it, and it is still running out of it. Yeah, you too. Sorry for the bad news. Righto guys, so I've spoken to my customer and given him the bad news, and according to the OEM salvage procedure, this component is not salvageable at all. So it really is disappointing that we're not going to be able to complete this repair. If it was something I had on a farm, I would just grind it out and weld it up and see if I could save it. Unfortunately, there are salvage procedures in place for a reason. When you're talking a machine that weighs 400 tonne and a couple of $1 million to replace, we really don't want this to fail, because that would just be a massive nightmare for somebody else. So obviously we would have loved this to be a successful repair, but you don't win them all, and that's what happens when you're involved in earth moving and mining. But that's it for this job. Thanks for watching. Oh, wrong lead.
Right. Fuck me.
Do you know what you're saying?
No. Because this is a steel casting, there are surface projections. Because this is a... What do you love it? In projections. That's a new
You
word.
make up new words every time.
Because this is a steel casting, there are surface but we will be doing an So the customer has already performed a crack. So the customer had... Right, can we just laugh when I fuck them up rather than you getting frustrated?
This would be me the whole time.
Right, so the customer has already performed an We are on our limit for depth and the length of what we are doing. But we are on our limit for... Oh, fuck me. But we are on our limit for... Oh, fuck.
Oh my god.
It's...
Now do between the two. Do you want to do two arms, like? Between, like, put your hands together and apart. Yeah. Alright. Okay. Curtis got really dizzy.
Oh. I don't know how many times I went round it. It felt like a lot.
It was like 5.
Really? Righto.
Hello. You need a toy. Are you gonna go find a toy? What happened? Oh.